You ever hear someone say the United States is a corporation, not a country? Sounds crazy, right? Like something out of a conspiracy theory handbook. But what if I told you that idea didn't come from the internet? It came from something passed by Congress over 150 years ago, something buried in legalese, signed into law in 1871. Today, on History They Don't Teach in School, we're diving deep into the mysterious Act of 1871. We'll explore what really changed after the Civil War, the strange legal status of Washington, D.C., the world of maritime law, and the sovereignty movement that claims you're not who you think you are in the eyes of the government. Buckle up. This one's a ride. Let's rewind. It's the 1860s. The Civil War had just ended. The country was torn apart, physically, emotionally, financially. Southern states were scorched, the federal government was deep in debt, and Lincoln was gone. Reconstruction was underway, but unity was shaky at best. The federal government needed more control, especially over the nation's capital, Washington, D.C. At the time, D.C. was kind of a mess. It wasn't a single city. It was a patchwork of separate jurisdictions, all governed differently. Imagine trying to run a country with your headquarters split between multiple municipalities with no unified government. Chaos. So in 1871, Congress passed what's officially called the District of Columbia Organic Act of 1871. On the surface, it was a bureaucratic cleanup job. It created a single municipal government for the entire district. But beneath that surface, that's where things get very interesting. And this is key. It did incorporate the District of Columbia. That means it gave DC a corporate charter, just like any city or town might get today. The charter let the federal district act like a single corporate entity for managing its own affairs. Nothing too weird yet, right? But here's where it starts to blur. In legal terms, incorporation allows an entity to enter contracts, sue or be sued, own property, and pass rules. So when the federal district became a municipal corporation, it effectively gave the federal government a new kind of legal identity. And that's where the United States is a corporation theory finds its roots. Because if the seat of federal power becomes a municipal corporation and all federal agencies operate under that umbrella, and your birth certificate, driver's license, and social security number all tie you to that system, then the argument is, are you a citizen of the country or a subject of the corporation? Here's the twist most people don't know. Washington, D.C. is not a state. It's not governed like the rest of the country. It has no voting senators. Its mayor is technically under congressional authority, and its laws can be overturned by federal lawmakers. Why? Because it's under exclusive jurisdiction of Congress, according to the Constitution. This makes D.C. a legal island, a place where different rules apply, and that's what opens the door to all kinds of legal rabbit holes. For example, some researchers argue that all federal laws technically apply only within D.C. or U.S. territories, unless explicitly stated otherwise. Sound wild? It gets weirder. You ever wonder why courtrooms have gold-fringed flags? Why judges wear robes like ship captains? Why your name on official documents appears in all caps? Enter maritime or admiralty law. In legal theory, admiralty law governs ships, trade, and the sea. But some theorists say that since the US was incorporated and the courts now use admiralty symbols, we're all being treated like cargo, not citizens. Under this view, the corporate US operates under a form of international commercial law, not the Constitution. This leads us straight to the sovereignty movement. These folks believe that your birth certificate is a contract, one that creates a legal fiction of you called a straw man. It's not the real you. It's a legal entity tied to the corporate US, used for taxation and control. According to them, the real you, a sovereign man or woman, can separate from that system by declaring sovereignty, revoking contracts, and reclaiming your rights as a natural-born citizen of the Republic, not the corporation. True, the District of Columbia was incorporated in 1871. True, the federal government operates from within that corporate structure. True, legal documents often refer to individuals in all caps, which has sparked tons of theories. It's true that America has become deeply corporatized. It's true that your legal identity is tied to systems you didn't create or consciously opt into. And it's true that DC operates under laws and rules that most people don't understand. So while the United States might not literally be a corporation in the way Apple or Amazon is, The metaphor, it hits close to home. Why does any of this matter? Because once you start to look at the government like a business, a lot of things make more sense. Why wars seem profitable, why debt never goes away, why your social security number feels more like a barcode than a birthright. It's not just about the Act of 1871, it's about the system that grew after it. A system where your identity, your rights, and your money flow through a corporate-style structure with shareholders, politicians, CEOs, and customers, us. Whether you believe in the corporate theory or not, one thing is undeniable. The United States today operates more like a company than a constitutional republic. We've got to start by understanding what really happened in 1871 and how it quietly changed everything. They say knowledge is power, but history, real history, that's liberation. If you like this episode, hit that like button, subscribe to Rock Solid TV, and share it with someone who still thinks we live in the same republic the founders